All right, 8th graders, in our last video I showed you how to place this photograph or clip art into your artboard, and I also showed you how to embed it so the blue X in the center disappeared. In this short video I'm going to use my select tool and I'm going to show you how to start manipulating that image from the internet just a bit. There's some really cool tricks we can do. Once you have your selection tool chosen, you're going to click on your image. Then in your properties menu off to the right side of your screen, there is a teeny tiny little button that says Image Trace. This is one of the coolest features of Adobe Illustrator. It allows us to essentially start manipulating that original image. So if I click on the very top default, I will get it to turn for this particular image into a black and white image. I can try out high fidelity photo and it will give me a completely different look. I have found the most success for laser engraving images to be anywhere from shades of gray to black and white logo to a sketched art. Every once in a while a silhouette will work as well. I was already playing around with this one, and the one I want to go with I think is sketched art for my specific image. So I chose sketched art and I really like how that turned out. Now I can do a little bit more with it since I've image traced it. My favorite trick once I image trace an image is to go to the expand button. Now we'll see what happens in the layers section. So we're under our properties, we go up to the layers tab, and you'll see that right now I only have 2 layers on this file. I'm going to go back to my properties tab and I'm going to click on that little expand button. Now on my screen it doesn't really look like a whole lot happened. I got a bunch of blue outlines around everything, but now when I go to my layers tab, I have a little caret here next to this thing that changed to a group. If I click on that caret for group, I now have a ridiculous amount of layers. If you chose something like high fidelity photo, you are going to have a giant list of layers because essentially it takes every single piece of that image and it turns it into its own separate shape in Illustrator. Now, the cool thing about this, I'm going to do Control 0 and go full screen. I can take pieces of my shape that I don't like and I can go in and delete them. So I'm going to go to my direct select tool. I'm going to change from the white selection tool or from the black to the white selection tool, and I'm going to click on a shape, and then on my keyboard I can just hit the delete button and I can get rid of any piece that I don't want because I don't want to laser engrave everything. Now what you can see on my screen is cleaned up. And if I want to, I can select this layer here and I can resize everything so it fits nicely in my wood token shape. Remember, when you're resizing though, the trick is you have to hold down that shift button. If you neglect to hold the shift button down, you will distort the proportions of your image. And then you won't have a nice perfect circle if you have a circular shape. And on my keyboard, I'm just using my arrow keys to move this elk logo from side to side. I'm really liking how this looks. I know off to the side, if I were to do Control and the minus sign, I have some stuff to the right side, but that actually won't get laser engraved. My laser engraver is only going to be reading what's on my white artboard space. Now I don't want my laser engraver to engrave this black rim around the outside, so all I'm going to do in my layers off to the right side of my screen, I'm just going to click on that little eyeball and it will hide that black circle. Again, anything that's on that white artboard, it's going to laser engrave. So now it's not going to laser engrave that black circle. I could even get rid of this black circle if I didn't want it, or I could get rid of half of the elk if I didn't want it. From here, you're going to actually be saving your work. So I'm going to do a file. I'm going to do save. And then this will be the file that you turn in on Schoology. I can't laser engrave anything but a .ai file, so I'll look for that in my Google Drive. So I'm going to open up a Drive tab, and I'm going to go into my Drive. I've sorted it into a folder in my Drive, and here it is. This is my copy of a wood token no hole. I'm actually just going to take a moment here and I'm going to rename it so it makes sense. I'm going to call this elk logo token and I'm going to put my name in there. So when it's opened up, I can never spell the word token correctly. So when it's opened up on the laser engraver computer, I know who created this image. And then I'm going to hit OK. Now this will be the file that I turn in on the assignment in Schoology, just a .ai file.